Heard of Saul Alinsky? All right. So we have built about 75 organizations across the world. 50 of them are in the United States. The rest are in Great Britain, Germany, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. The Spokane Alliance is a part of the fastest growing regional network. And we started with Spokane, Edmonton, and Portland in 2002. This region, has helped build new affiliates in Seattle, Tacoma, Vancouver, BC, Calgary, Alberta, Brisbane and Sydney, Australia, and most recently to include a very diverse organization in New Zealand. We also have strong interest from groups of organizations in Victoria, BC, the Tri-Cities, and Missoula, Montana. I want to note that since the Spokane Alliance was one of the first IAF organizations in the region, Spokane's stories and growing track record were a major part of this inspiration and growth, and we should be proud for that. Yeah. Thank you. All affiliates are similarly structured and operate on shared principles and practices. They are all small-staffed organizations of 1 to 4 people. And clearly, the IAF has grown and developed over the years, but at the core of it are 3 main focuses that have stayed the same. First is people. We listen to the people inside our member organizations and ask, what's important in your life? What are your hopes and fears? And what do you want to act on the most? We focus on developing leaders and building diverse relationships. Second is power. We define power as the ability to act, and we need to be able to create change and more social justice. In order for us to do this, we need power, so we can confront and negotiate those that make decisions and are calling the shots. Third is results. We organize around issues to make change. We focus on what is clear, concrete, and winnable. We won't take on world hunger, but we will take on sick and safe leave, so that people living paycheck to paycheck have more flexibility in how they are able to take care of themselves and their family. We want to make change, so we're calculated with the issues we take on, measuring how much capacity and ability we have against how much we'll need to be successful. Together, our fellow IAF organizations have taken on countless issues over the years. Just to name a few are public school funding, racial profiling, green youth jobs, safe guns, living wages, affordable housing, building day shelters for the homeless, and most recently in Spokane, we passed a sick and safe leave ordinance and also expanded opportunities for higher education through an apprenticeship and local hire ordinance. All of these wins started with personal stories we heard in relational meetings. Currently, the Spokane Alliance is working on one of its most ambitious campaigns with the Sound Alliance and other partners in a statewide campaign called Building a Better Washington. We are holding a meeting here at your church on April 3rd, which Jim Lee mentioned. The Building a Better Washington campaign's purpose is to illuminate through personal experience how each of our lives have been impacted based on state funding, such as the quality of our public schools and mental health services, or state parks and fire service. We'll teach what's happening with the state budget and its requirement to fully fund public education, identify solutions that complement our values, and then organize enough people to be able to make change so that no important services are cut and our state doesn't become even more regressive with our tax structure. This is a big campaign. And one of the major challenges we have is getting people over their distrust of government, to believe that they can hold government accountable. But I have a short story of hope that reminds us about the importance of agency and being able to hold officials accountable. It also illustrates the value of being relational and relational organizing to help us focus where our tax dollars go. One of our top leaders accepted the challenge to attend our internationally recognized leadership training. Upon her arrival back in town, we set up a relational meeting. We sat down in her office and began talking. I realized she was not really engaged in the conversation, and I wasn't feeling energized. I took a moment to think, what am I doing wrong? What could I do differently? I realized I was asking questions to Lindsay about programs, clubs, and operations. I wasn't asking about her. I smoothly moved the conversation to focusing on her as the subject of the meeting. Everything changed. I learned that she's feeling worn out, and there was one thing she wanted to try as a school principal that she felt like could help strengthen this elementary school. Teach relational meetings to the teachers and the staff, and create a 3-month campaign for school staff to have at least 60 relational meetings with parents. Not conferences about their children, but meetings with parents about who they are and what they want to do with their life as a parent, as a community member. This intention, this act, began to shift the culture of the school. This was the foundation that gave them the capacity to make large change. This work of relational meetings with parents moved us into a larger campaign and effort to secure funding for major school improvements in their school and also across the city. This relational organizing strengthened the school and its culture. They organized their people and in turn gained power, and used it to help state officials focus where our tax dollars should go. The Unitarian core team has gone through relational meeting training side by side with countless faith, union, and school leadership. Ideally, every Spokane Alliance member organization has a core team, which is a core group of people who have two-pronged focus: to be the conduit and represent their larger organization at Spokane Alliance functions, and to identify and bring back key universals and tools the Alliance teaches and uses that has the potential and power to help strengthen each member organization. Your core team leadership, along with many others across the world, have identified that relational meetings, if practiced inside their institution, could help strengthen their culture and relationships, and in turn build power to act on issues of your members' concern. Relational meetings help weave the fabric of a community. They build power just by the very nature of tying us closer together. We're trying to move the needle on issues of social justice and make concrete change, but we also want to shift the culture of our society to be more relational, inclusive, understanding, and able to have civil conversations with people that we may not agree with, but yet can find an underlying common connection. The more we understand each other and trust each other, the more possibilities we have to act on what's most important. If you're interested in getting involved, learning more about this lens in which we operate, and building relationships with people from other faith institutions, professions, nonprofits, and unions, you have a great opportunity coming up. Our next local leadership training is on May 4th and 11th, and it'll be here at the Unitarian Church. This is free for all Spokane Alliance members, which means you. We have flyers in the back, and you can talk to any of the core team leaders if you're interested. And core team leaders, could you just raise your hands? Thank you. We can change the world, and it begins right here. In 75 years of organizing experience, and through 75 organizations across the globe, we have found nothing more meaningful, effective, and foundational than the practice of one-to-one relational meetings. Each meeting creates a space for individual growth and transformation. They are rich and enjoyable experiences. Combined with the collective energy from hundreds of relational meetings, breaks down prejudices, reinvigorates values-based institutions, and leads to actions that transforms both our cities and states. This church has already been a part of that in a big way here in Spokane. We still have a long way to go, and I'm excited to travel with you on this journey to a more just and equitable world. Thank you for having me.
The author of the testimonial in your order of service is Magil, and she's back at the Alliance core team table. You may want to take a minute to stop by and say hello to her. Hi, I'm Jerry White, and in 2014, Marilyn